A city of almost 500 years old, Jakarta has seen so many changes throughout different eras. Now a city fast moving to the 21st century, it's still not hard to find Jakarta's old vintage touches. So come along on a nostalgic ride with us to see good old Jakarta. Come see the beauty only on Indonesia.
See Indonesia.
My favorite part of town. When you see pictures of old Jakarta, the contrast is so striking. The city moves to the 20th century, but the people are still laid back with their bicycles, rickshaws, and just walking about. It's amazing.
Jakarta was the heart of Dutch colonial rule. But as the era gave way to post-independence, much of the Western Dutch influence faded as well. Although, there are ways to experience those bygone years today.
Indonesia culture describes the predominant culture during colonial times, a mix of Dutch, Chinese, Indian, and local Indonesian cultures. What was it like back then? Well, enter Huize Triveli, one place where you could relive what Indonesia was like during the colonial times. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It's ornaments like these that really make this place relive the good old days. But if you want to make your place a blast to the past, we got the place just for you.
Barang-barang antik itu mengandung seni ya. Barang-barang antik itu kalau yang tahu sejarah mungkin ya lebih memahami itu.
Welcome to Jakarta's vintage haven in Jalan Surabaya. And just to clarify, Jalan Surabaya is just a street name. We're still very much in central Jakarta. This street market is a favorite for collectors and hobbyists alike, who loves to hunt vintage items. Numerous shops offering various items line up the walkway. Lamps, coal ironing, vases, ethnic masks, radios, and other tidbits that go a century back.
Ya masih ada buatan Belanda, itu seperti lampu-lampu kan buatan Belanda banyak kan ya.
That's Bapak Omo, the shop owner and the head of the vintage items block. He has 50 years of experience dealing with antiquities.
Bisa dibedakan. Kalau barang-barang yang dulu, yang asli itu, kalau melihat ukirannya itu betul-betul halus ya. Nggak kayak buatan sekarang. Kalau sekarang kelihatannya kasar sekali gitu.
They started by selling old items on the streets. Realizing their tourism potential, the Jakarta government designated Jalan Surabaya as a vintage item central in 1970. Now, it's an official tourist site. Items are brought here from everywhere, but they are mostly household objects passed down generations. Prices vary according to type, age, and most importantly, how emotionally attached you can get to an item.
Kalau umpamanya nggak dijiwai ya kita nggak ketemu gitu ya.
Beware of choice process because there's literally thousands of items here. But if you're a good collector, you'll know what to find. And one more thing, bargain. Do bargain.
More than just meticulous eyes, you also need a clear conscience. Items here lack documentation, if they even have any. Some are replicas, some are real, but we just have to take their word for it. Let's give some of them a look. Silverware, 50 to 100,000 rupiah. Porcelain, 200 to 300,000 rupiah. Vintage light fixtures, 1 million rupiah. Vintage candle stands, 2 million rupiah a pair.
I know this one, Bata calendar. See it full in our Samosir episode. Iceberg, right ahead! Full astern! I'm gonna break something. Look at all these stuff. Oh, wow. Oh, sorry. Let's summon the genie. Boom! Oh wait, this is for tea. Not a lamp. All right, no genie there. At the end of Jalan Surabaya is something entertainment lovers would really love. And there are these, look, vinyls, a huge collection of them. I'm looking at one right here, The King, Elvis. Look at that, so pristine. And we all know that song, but I can't help falling in love with you. Right. Kids these days, I bet don't know what these are. These are called LDs or laser discs. Yes, this is how we used to watch movies in the 80s, 90s, even to the 2000s. I remember going to the rent out for these and just choosing movies this big. And what you really appreciate from these are the album covers. They look so beautiful. There's one thing you guys know. They are these VHS. Also a thing of the 80s, 90s, 2000s to watch movies. And we all know this movie. Yep. Pretty woman walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman. Yeah!
That was a blast to the past worth experiencing.
Only on Indonesia.
Jakarta is a city that I hold dear. Going back 50 years ago, much of the urban strolls revolve around central Jakarta. Like these so-called Menteng-style houses that retain their signature single-story high-roof design. Today, it has become somewhat of a hype to relive that bygone era.
It's the ornaments that really make a vintage scene come alive. Have a look. It's like chairs like these, and this is very familiar because I grew up with chairs like this. Look at that color. Oh, that feels nice. But this is not one from the 60s. Actually, it's a piece from the 21st century.
In the southern suburbs of Pondok Cabe is a man that brings the 50s right through the 70s back to life.
The unique thing about vintage is because it's been around, so it has a character. It has a patina, it has an imperfection.
Say hello to Lutfi, the owner and the genius behind Jakarta Vintage. Established in 2012, they specialize in reinventing aged household apparels with a splash of modernity. From chairs to desks, he dubs all of them as authentic vintage. Authentic because before they were transformed to these sophisticated objects, they used to look like this. Sad old pieces of wood collecting dust.
Look at this is basically trash. So you're a trash picker, Mas Lutfi.
Yes, unfortunately, but I turn it into treasure.
He wasn't kidding about being a picker. Lutfi would stroll around flea markets, peek at someone's front yard, and even grab items right off the street. This all stemmed from having a childhood connection to vintage items. He writes down his obsession on a blog that sparked an enormous following. Then he thought, hey, why not just dress up this old stuff and capitalize on it? So he did. He also partners with young designers and a trusted workshop. This gave birth to products which oozes a modern mid-century feel.
More unique and it's more personal. It's not like template house where your interior design looks the same as your neighbors, which is something I wouldn't recommend.
All right, let's take you through the process. Basically, there are two ways to go about it. He can refurbish old household goods that still has its shape, or remake one entirely using leftover wood. Refurbishing starts with knocking and sanding down all corners and sides to weed out any rot or excess wood. The wood is then simply varnished. For chairs and benches, the cushions are torn right off and entirely replaced with Lutfi's signature child-themed accents. Meanwhile, remade items are based on the same mid-century designs. The best part for Lutfi is that nothing gets wasted.
This is all piece. There is no energy that we use for you to have this item, so it's good for the environment.
What would have been picked up for next to nothing now sells upwards of 5 to even 10 million rupiah a piece. And he's not short of fans. Lutfi is fortunate to have the youth view everything vintage as the new cool.
Vintage has become like ticket to coolness. If you like vintage, it's like, okay, I'm cool. Okay, I think that's what happened with young people.
And his efforts bore plentiful fruits as his vintage designs led him to tour Indonesia and the world. He got the chance to participate in showcases held as far as Milan, Dubai, and Macau. So if you have a piece of old furniture collecting dust, take a better look. It might still deserve a second life.
See the beauty? Only on Indonesia.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Wow, that is such a good ice cream. But not any type of ice cream. This is Tropic Ice Cream, the second oldest ice cream shop in Jakarta. A vintage street with some good old music in a historic place. Let's check it out.
And that brings us here. Greetings to one of the oldest commercial centers in Jakarta, Pasar Baru. First opened in 1820, it was initially spelled Pasar Baru. As the sign suggests, the name refers to it being the newest market downtown after Senen and Tanah Abang market. By the 1870s, it became a major economic hub. Literature from the time describes Pasar Baru as a new bazaar, bustling with Chinese, Indian, Javanese, and Dutch traders.
Story goes our first president, President Sukarno, used to sneakily come into Pasar Baru from the presidential palace right there. I imagine he would have taken off his signature safari and peci, put some shades on, and listened in to people's gossip and mingling around Pasar Baru. Growing up in Jakarta, going to Pasar Baru is always a very exciting thing because it's like an outdoor mall that you can find anything. A few things I look for here are a new pair of shoes and, of course, a new pair of suits. Like this one.
Fast forward to today, and Pasar Baru's legacy continues. It's still a major shopping center. A huge one too, with at least 6 blocks, trading all things from textile, apparels, and electronics. The total number of transactions made here daily can be worth billions of rupiah. And if you explore its alleys, the market will reward you with iconic dishes.
Gang kelinci, wow, yes.
Pasar Baru even still retains its ethnic center legacy, like the Sintekpio Temple, a Chinese ethnic heritage that predates Pasar Baru itself. It would take a whole day and another episode of See Indonesia to cover this seemingly self-sustaining city within the capital. So now, we're here for one particular signature of Pasar Baru and their specialty. I'm talking about artworks.
This is the place to get your life story on canvas.
Meet the artists of Pasar Baru. They stand right outside the gate of the market at the Gedung Kesenian Street. They are known for street artwork famous since the 90s.
Percaya atau tidak percaya, setiap lukisan itu ada roh. Untuk pengisian rohnya itu perlu keseriusan yang sangat.
That gentleman is Eko, a painter at the Pasar Baru street painter community. He's an artist at heart who regards painting as a calling.
Panggilan jiwa ya, terutama kita diberi Tuhan suatu talenta. Meskipun basic saya, akademisi saya di luar seni rupa, saya seorang sarjana hukum perdata, tapi profesi saya sebagai pelukis.
A painter for more than 50 years, Eko's love for the art first sparked in the name of love.
Awalnya sih ya karena waktu SMA ada pacar minta dibuatkan, itu awalnya. Lama-lama jadi kebiasaan, jadi suka. Dan akhirnya kok dengan melukis menghasilkan.
Betting on living as a painter, Eko moved to Jakarta from Surabaya in the 80s. He used to roam the streets around Pasar Baru, painting greeting cards with like-minded artists. But technology got the best of him.
Apalagi terpukul dengan handphone. Nah, semakin hancur untuk kartu ucapan. Akhirnya kami beralih ke lukis potret atau karikatur.
Realizing their worth, the regional government centralized the painters here in 1999, making them the only organized street painting community in Jakarta. Today, there are 29 painters on this street. Many of them are from outside town. Some came here from places as far as Sukabumi in West Java. Eko himself is now the head of the Pasar Baru street painting community. They take all kinds of projects, but they're famed among Jakarta residents for their caricatures.
Karikatur itu kan gambar atau lukisan yang bercerita. Jadi di situ kita harus bisa menangkap dan menuangkan ke dalam kanvas berupa wajah dengan gerak yang sesuai dengan karakter wajah tersebut, karakter orang tersebut.
Oftentimes, capturing someone's character and emotions are not easy. So Eko would often sit down with the person who is the subject of his painting and chat with them over coffee and cigarettes. Although he has resorted to text messages amid the pandemic.
Wajah orang itu kadang-kala ada yang sulit ditangkap. Nggak tahu auranya atau karakternya, ada yang susah.
When character boundaries are overcome, the result speaks for itself. Since Eko pours his heart and soul into each of his work, they come with a comparable price tag. The smallest one, made in a 40 by 50 centimeter frame, is priced at 2 million rupiah or $140, while bigger ones go up to 5 million rupiah or $350. Visitors don't flock here anymore like they used to, more so with the ongoing pandemic. But painters of Pasar Baru continues to strive and offer the best vintage art for Jakartans. And that's where our vintage tour ends. Our brief time travel to old Jakarta has really made me more appreciative of what this city has become, a thriving capital with an enticing history.
She's a winner, I'm a sinner.